Wel, Anol gyfeillion, diolch yn fawr iawn i chi gyd. Diolch o galon i chi gyd am ddod yma heddi i helpu ni ymarn Abertawe ond ledled Cymru wrth gwrs, i wneud popeth ni'n gallu wneud, i bod yn siŵr bydd Llywodraeth Llafur yn San Steffan, i cydweithio gyda ni yma yng Nghymru, i wneud popeth sydd â ni i wneud, i creu dyfodol llwyddiannus, dyfodol newydd, i teuluoedd i blant i pob un ohono ni yma yng Nghymru. Thank you all so much for being here in this absolutely crucial general election. An election that will set a direction not just for 5 years, but for generations that will come ahead of us. An opportunity to repair the damage done by a decade of Tory-imposed austerity. An opportunity to save our NHS from the clutches of Donald Trump and his friend Boris Johnson. An opportunity to have a government in Westminster that will put our planet before profit. All of that relies on us doing everything we can to make sure that here in Wales we return the maximum number of Welsh Labour MPs to do the things that only a Labour government will do. Only a Labour government will invest in our public services. Only a Labour government will make the lives of working people our priority. Only a Labour government will be prepared to take those long-term decisions on which the future of generations that will follow us will depend. And I hope that you will forgive me just for a moment when I remind us all of what it means to have a Labour government. Because as I sat in the Clause 5 meeting at which our fantastic manifesto was signed off, and as we worked our way through chapter after chapter, I was struck by how much we have been able to do here in Wales, despite a decade of Tory cuts, despite a government in Westminster that has no interest at all in Wales. We don't have to have free prescriptions in our manifesto in Wales. We don't have to have free breakfasts. We don't have to have abolishing car parking charges in our hospitals, because we've done all that in Wales already. We don't have to ban fracking, because we've banned it already in Wales. We don't need to promise to have a guard on every train, because every train in Wales already has a guard. All those things that come with a Welsh Labour government, that we want a UK Labour government to show how those things can be done across the whole of the United Kingdom. We don't need to restore nurse bursaries because we never abolished them. We don't need to restore education maintenance allowances because our young people have had them ever since the last Labour government put them in place. And the next Labour government in Westminster will make sure that all the things that we have done, we can build on that with Jeremy Corbyn and his team there in London to work alongside us. Look, I just wanted to tell you two stories, because in the end, you know, all politics is about people. Everything that you do, everything that Jeremy does and we do here in Wales, in the end, it's all about the people that we want to serve and work with. And I just wanted to tell you about two people who I have heard about and met over the last few months. Earlier in the summer, Jeremy and I were privileged to represent the Labour Party and the people of Wales at the commemorations to mark the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings. Landings in which the continent of Europe was liberated from the scourge of fascism, and so many Welsh soldiers involved in that. We went together to Bayeux and had been in the cathedral there during the morning. And after the service was over, we walked together from the cathedral up to the cemetery where so many Welsh soldiers are buried. And as we went, there were 300 people left from the thousands and thousands who were involved in that great operation. All of them now well in their 90s, many of them being pushed by their family and friends in wheelchairs up to where those crosses, those thousands of graves are still to be seen. And as we walked up, I spoke to a very frail man, well in his 90s. His daughter was pushing him up the hill. And what he said to me was this. He said, don't forget, not only were we the people who liberated Europe, but we were the people who gave you that great Labour government, who voted for Attlee, who made sure you have the National Health Service, who made sure that there were houses for people to live in, who made sure there was an education service for all our young people. And I felt that what he was saying to me was, in our day, in the worst of circumstances, we acted to make sure that there was a future that was fair for everybody. And that is the future that those of us who are lucky enough to be in the positions we are in today have to have the same courage, the same determination, the same bravery to create, not just here in Wales, but for people right across the United Kingdom. And let me tell you as well about somebody right at the other age of the age spectrum, a young child. So this is a colleague of mine in the Welsh Government, in the Cabinet, who said to me, we were meeting on a Monday, and she said, on Friday, I went into a school in my constituency, as so many of us do every week. She said, I went into the school, primary school, because the children there were having a special day. They were having a day when they were all meeting and talking and answering the question, what is the sort of Wales that we want? And she said, I went into this class of 6- and 7-year-olds and sat down at a table with a group of them, and the young girl next door to me had been drawing a picture. She'd been drawing a picture of the Wales that she wanted. And it was a picture of fields and of trees and of hedges and of animals. And she said, I said to this 6-year-old, I said, looking at this picture of the countryside, so where does food come from? And the child said to her, with no sense of irony and not making any sort of point, that 6-year-old child said to her, oh, food comes from the food bank. Now, can you imagine a more chilling moment than that? A child in Wales, in the 5th richest country in the face of the globe, who believed in her absolutely everyday experience that the food on her table came from the food bank. And that's what the next Labour government will make sure, that that child never needs to say again. Because it is a disgrace. It is a scandal and a disgrace that there will be 50,000 more children in poverty in Wales at the end of this decade than when the last Labour government left office. 50,000 more children without a future. And it's not an accident. It didn't just happen by itself. It happened because of the cold-hearted, calculated, pitiless, merciless decisions of a Tory government. Now that's why in this election, it is the Labour Party that says to people, you don't have to settle for a Boris Johnson basement Britain. We can do better than the Tories tell you. We will give hope to people across this country. We will give hope to those families forced to rely on the feared and hated universal credit. We will give hope to those young people so dedicated and determined to making climate change, the fight to reverse climate change, a reality in our lifetimes here today. We will give hope to those people who turn up every day to work in our public services, trying to knit up the ravels of the welfare state, the net that was there for us all that the Tories have frayed to the point of breaking. We will give hope to those people. We will give hope to older people that as they come to need care in their own homes, that Labour will provide that health and social care system that will give them the dignity, the respect, the freedom from fear that Nye Bevan said the health service was all about. And we will provide the hope that that person in Bayeux said to me, the hope that there is a government that will create in as bold, as determined, as courageous way in our lifetime, a future for everybody. We will create hope in the life of that child and those like her, whose futures are blighted by the government that they have, through no choice of their own, been forced to live under. So thank you. Thank every one of you for everything that you do, for every door that you knock, for every envelope you stuff, for every leaflet you deliver, for every phone call you make, for every conversation that you have with people on the bus, in the queue, every chance we have in these last 5 days to go out there, to send that message, to make sure that people know the future can be different, the future will be different, because it's been cold, it's been wet, but it'll be worth it when we have that Labour government there in Westminster, a Labour government led by the leader of the Labour Party, the person you're going to hear from next, from Jeremy Corbyn.